speak to you today not as the leading authority of our order, but as I would a friend or a colleague. So in this series we will be revealing the truth. Some of you may have seen these signs on social media. This is from a promise that is being kept from the start of this path. You already know who we are. You already know a lot more about us. In fact, the modern world, the Western world, for the majority of the people who live in there know, or at least have heard about our story, our ideals. You've seen the retelling of history. You've seen the retelling and foretelling of things that have happened many years in the past and have happened in recent times. All this was fashioned in a way for you to recognise us when we did return. Before I continue, let the Creator tell you for himself.
And there were some messages in there about, archaeology and also about what we believe in terms of myths and that sort of thing. But the real one is Star Wars, and that was done in the same vein that what I was saying about the patron creates the propaganda, and what I wanted to do was go back to some of the older propaganda, which was consistent through all of the societies, which is mythology, but to say, what did they all believe? Because they were all, this propaganda was created independently.
Yeah.
And what are the things that they all actually believed? Psychological motifs that were created through storytelling, primarily oral storytelling, that explained what they believed in and who they believed in. So what I wanted to do is go back and find the psychological motifs that underlie that, because those grow out of a popularism, and to say that not all, but a majority of people have a certain, to make people say, hey, this is why we believe this stuff. And again, the crudest part of that in terms of the religious, spiritual thing is some people have taken those ideas and then distorted them, and you end up in a cult where they're using the psychological tools to make you adhere to their society, and part of it is they have to keep it closed.
And to them.
And to them. But it's the same thing. I mean, learned in theory, but it works everywhere except.
Where did the idea of force come from?
The whole thing in Star Wars was to take, ideas, psychological ideas, from social issues, political issues, spiritual issues, and condense them down into an easy to tell story of those stories. The Force basically came from, distilling all of the religious beliefs, spiritual beliefs, go all around the world, all through time, finding the similarities, and then creating an easy to deal with metaphor. Point is that in the very beginning, when you have people worshiping rocks and deer, they called it life force. They called it the Force. Right. That's what it was. And so where did the name come from? It came from basically life force.
See, now you see, the story is very old. The order is much, much older. Although the locations and the characters are different, the main theme of the story is what is at heart, and it is that way and on purpose. And it is for that reason why so many have found so much within the films and has a huge fan base. But even though it has probably one of the largest fan bases in the world, still many of them do not see the clear messages put within inside. As you see, its creator started it exactly where we are today. What is going on is a changing of an era. Now it's up to you, the people, as it always should be, to decide whether you want to go back to that world, a world full of greed, hate, anger, war, suffering, starvation, or want to change for the better.
History forever and ever, and all Star Wars is a way of updating that idea to say, watch out, because there are people out there who don't play by the rules, and if you're not careful, you're going to lose all your freedom. And at the same time, those people who may not play by the rules because they're selfish and greedy turn themselves into evil people who don't care about other people.
Hello and welcome to this series. An epidemic that has stretched across the globe and is affecting millions, but people seem to have forgot about the one that was already there. But people have given little thought to the ongoing crises that have been going on for centuries, those that have more deaths than what has been now for this coronavirus. Every year there are more than 3.4 million deaths from waterborne diseases. What's worse, that most of these deaths are young children, about 4,000 a day. Dirty water kills 5,000 children a day. Nearly 2 million children die a year for the want of clean water and proper sanitation, while the world's poor often pay a lot more than the USA or Britain alone. These are the basic human needs that require us to live in these vessels, these bodies, and this has been going on for as long as time. That is the real tragedy, that little people have seen this but are noticing the effects of what is now classed as a world crisis. And don't get me wrong, most certainly is. Any tragedy or crisis that concerns the deaths of people is shocking, especially if it's caused by human hands as too, or if it's caused by governments. There are many that die in the endless wars of the Middle East, and that has been going on for centuries, although the reasons for that war is such blind faith.